Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, Ken, thanks. Yeah, welcome to the Fan Cave. I'm sure a lot of you want to talk, and that's what we're here to do. Talk about a Steeler loss, the first of the year, and not many people thought it would happen against this team. But Washington is better than you think, and they've been playing better, now winners of 3 in a row, and they handed the Steelers their first loss of the season. Welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel. Bob Pompeani here with Chris Mueller up at 93.7 The Fan, and we want your calls too at 412-575-2600. And Chris, one of these games that, I start thinking that teams, after watching the Steelers week after week, like all teams, you'll learn tendencies, you learn what they like to do. The Steeler pass game to me has become pretty much the same in that it's a lot of underneath type of stuff. Every now and then they'll throw it deep, but most of the time it's underneath, which increases the chance of batting the ball down and other things like that. I think teams that know the Steelers aren't going to run the ball and know they will employ that have a little bit of an advantage. And I think tonight, Washington kind of exploited that more so than we've seen.
Well, I'm surprised that when Ken Rice threw things to you, Montez Sweat didn't bat it down and stop us from getting on the air the way that this went. The Steelers, you know it's a predictable offense from the past, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. The Steelers trying to throw this underneath stuff, you're right, Bob, it's become pretty predictable. And I think most people before this game started said if Washington's going to keep it close or spring the upset, and I'll just get it out of the way now, Filippone called this one. He thought Washington was going to win. Everyone chalked it up to the idea that maybe their front four could be disruptive enough with all that first-round talent. I don't think, however, that people thought it would manifest itself in that many batted down passes, but the chickens kind of came home to roost here. I mean, we had so many people defiantly saying, hey, the Steelers keep winning, stop complaining about their offense. It's fine. It's been good enough to go 11-0. Well, you saw now what happens to you eventually against good defenses, and Washington has a good defense when you're completely one-dimensional and when that one dimension doesn't involve taking that many shots down the field or doing so with a ton of accuracy. That goal line sequence was very bad, obviously. The end of the game sequence was very bad by the Steelers in terms of their offense on that penultimate possession. It's finally, I think, at least an object lesson for people that just kept holding on to the notion that, hey, this team hasn't lost yet, so let's just keep riding the wave. Now you finally saw somebody beat them, and hopefully that opens eyes that they need to be a lot better.
Yeah, and, talk about the run game. You saw that Benny Snell run there just a moment ago in the highlights. Came on a 3rd and 10 in their own territory. He was stuffed for a 2-yard loss, and that set up field position that gave Washington the opportunity to take and tie the game. So, actually take the lead. 21 yards rushing is not going to get it done. They got to do better than that, and I'm not suggesting they became a run team. They're not going to be a good run team. They haven't opened up enough holes, but you got to have more success so that on the goal line, Chris, we saw 3 Benny Snell runs and then a pass attempt to Hawkins, which, if it works, that's fine. But that's what came down to on that situation, and that's very costly.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. They can't just line up and fire off the ball at anybody. When they were running the ball well early in the season, too, I mean, Connor was doing part of it. Snell had a couple good games. But they were also, what happened to the window dressing? I would love to know. What happened to all the stuff pre-snap? They've just become too predictable in that regard. And if you're not going to be able to line up and fire off the ball and beat people, you better find a way with misdirection to get done what you want to get done. And if the Steelers can't do either of those things, this is going to get uglier. It's going to get worse before it gets better because I don't know if people are noticing. Buffalo's putting it to San Francisco right now for the most part. Cleveland looks better. Indianapolis can slow down the pass. This last several games of the season, these last 4, could get kind of ugly for the Steelers if they don't fix their offensive imbalance.
Yeah, they got to do it. And, again, it has nothing to do with running the ball 35 times a game. What it has to do with being successful and trusting it when you need it. And if you can't do that, that other team knows what you're going to do, and we're starting to see that. And we have seen it recently, but they still won games, to their credit. And now they have to go back and try to beat a Buffalo team in Buffalo next Sunday night. And it won't be an easy assignment. And that is an AFC game. And again, with these tiebreakers, to me, and I'll talk to Chris about this more and you, this is mightily important for the Steelers to get the one and only bye. They have not had a time off in a while, and I do think the rest for Washington did help them tonight. We'll talk about that and more. It's 412-575-2600. That is the number to call. Hear from you next. Call us, tweet us, air your opinion right here on the Sports Call.